Go. We are now officially live. VA style. What up? Albert, what up? Everybody, good morning. Good morning. Bringing you the happy every single day. Vernon Brown, your host. 8:45 Central, 8:45 Eastern, 7:45 Central. Breaking down problems this week, finding and showing you there's different ways of handling so many problems, making sure these teensy weensy things that we go through in life get managed and taken care of. I'm talking about being more proactive than being more reactive. Proactively. I know things are uncomfortable. I know things are scary. I know things are frustrating. I know you could be feeling whatever. Some sort of pressure is on you to start doing better and before you get ahead. But today we're going to start this off with a story. You might have heard this. If you have, rock with me. If you haven't, rock with me no matter what. Man sitting there, a man's in his house, big, beautiful house, big, beautiful suburban house, got everything, right? All of a sudden it starts raining. Tons of rain, unprecedented amount of rain just coming in. And of course, this huge flood starts coming. And then as it starts flooding, he's like, oh my gosh, my house, my things. I worked so hard for these. He's worked so, okay, I think my son just got up. He's worked so hard for these things, right? And he's like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? Water gets higher, gets higher, gets higher. Now he's like, okay, I got to abandon these things. F it, forget it. So now he's like, oh, okay, that's weird. Thank you. Appreciate the love. Do me a favor, just try not to call if you want to show me some love. Hey, but, and thank you for that call. But if you keep calling, I will block you. Got no choice. Anyway, so he's sitting there. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm about to lose everything that I have. So he gets in a boat. Now he's on the boat and he's like, okay, God, you got me here. God, you got to help me out. If you don't believe that way, that's fine. Listen to the story. Eat the meat and spit out the bone. Um, but he's on the boat. He's like, okay, God, I know you're going to help me out of this. I know you're going to help me out of this. Now the water's so high, 2-3 story house. Let's go with 2-story house. And all you can see is literally just the crown of that roof. That is it. And he's sitting there in a boat like, God's going to help me. A boat comes up, rescue boat. And it's like, hey, man, get inside, get inside, get inside. He's like, no, God is going to help me. God got me here and God is going to help me through this. And the boat was like, look, man, you will die if you don't get in this boat. You're going to die. And he's like, no, I will not, because my creator is going to save me. My creator is going to take care of me. And so the boat goes off. It's like, okay, man, it's up to you. So then a couple hours later, he's on there. It's getting cold. It's getting, now he can't even see the top of his house. Another boat pulls up. Big boat, big giant boat. And it's like, come on, we got plenty of survivors. We got food. We got whatever you need. Just get in the boat. He's like, you are going to die. The man whose house flooded says, no, 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 I'm not. Because my God, my creator is going to save me. Boat says, are you sure? He says, yeah, I'm sure. So anything that boat goes off, well, guess what? Starved to death. Man dies. Because he was such a devout believer, because he did the things that he said was supposed to do according to, how he believes, he goes to heaven. He gets to the gates, and St. Peter's there saying, oh my gosh, you're here ahead of your time. And he's like, well, what do you mean? He's just like, you aren't supposed to be here. He's like, how did you die? And St. Peter looks at him, and, saying this to him, looks at him. He's like, well, I was waiting God for me to save me. And then Peter looks at him and said, well, we sent 2 people for you already. What do you mean? Boom. That's it. Help is there for lots of us. For many of y'all, the help is right there in front of you, but you have got to ask for it. And many times in life, and I've seen this, in many different clients, a few of y'all might be are tuning in now, and you've heard me even talk about this, but the solution, that thing that can help you is there. But what we get so focused on many times, why problems get the best of us, is because we start thinking that it needs to come in this specific form, in this specific way. It could be according to how you believe. It could be according to how you function and process. It could be just something, but you expect it to be exactly what you want, or maybe to come in a different way. And what can happen is you are going to miss the exact opportunity because you won't ask, because you won't reach out, because you won't accept. And therefore, you're going to sit there and you're going to be stuck on that same problem. No, it's not saying it's dire as you're sitting in the water and it's flooding and things like that. What's up, buddy? Love you. Give me a minute. I see you. Can you give me 1 minute? Okay. Can you go? Got you. But so many of us are not reaching out. I apologize for the interruption. We love our kids. And we have what we're ultimately asking for, but it could come in a form of, I don't want to make this phone call. because I don't want to see what they're going. I don't want to hear what they're going to say. I don't want to, get this tweak, to get this tip, to get this in, because it's going to make you feel as if you're not man enough or you're not woman enough because you didn't do it on your own, and that way you feel away. But I am challenging people that sometimes when we are looking for a help, or we're looking for a solution, or we're looking for a leg up, we're looking for just a level up. It is right there. There has been very few times, and there's some of you all, and I've had this conversation with a couple of y'all this week, that if you just sit back and look at it, what you're looking for is literally right there in front of you, but you're not looking. I have done it. And there's one of the big things where I literally will say, I will pull back and get beyond myself. Because sometimes when you are stuck on something, you're chewing it up, you're spitting it out, and it's still not getting small, and you chew it up again, that's letting you know you need to, in many cases, step back and look at all the available options to you. Is this the smartest way to handle this? If I had a friend going through this, because sometimes we get so involved with it emotionally, we can't see the better solution, or that we can't see what the best option is for us. Because sometimes we do see the solution, but what happens? Boom. I cannot stand the word ego. I think it's way overused, and I think it's completely bastardized. Whole nother conversation, pardon my language. But it's when we get past our own emotions about how we feel about something or how we perceive, and in many cases, what they could think of us, you'll realize, like, I could just do this. Sometimes it might be you might need to finesse it a little bit. Yeah, you might have to deal with some family issues and things like that, or you don't want to hear that. And I'm not saying that sometimes we'll forget it and just ford the river sometimes, Oregon Trail reference there. But it's sometimes you might have to finesse this a little bit. But the solution is right in front of you. You just have to approach it creatively. I've had many a client when we were struggling and fighting and get things back up and get struggling and fighting and get things going. It became more of a conversation of structuring. Maybe we need to practice better boundaries. If you need to go to a family member, maybe you need to get something co-signed on or get your credit repaired in some way, shape, or form. And you got to reach out to someone, and you don't want to do it. Well, your lack of wanting to do it don't change the fact that that problem is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger if you don't approach it. I'm talking about support. I'm talking about help. I'm talking about getting beyond yourself, because every problem that you approach in life, you don't need to solve it. I mentioned this yesterday. There's some people who have so much fun playing in the areas where you struggle with. You could know these people in many cases that you do, but you might not want to approach it. Or it could be you're so busy trying to be busy, and you could be busy putting out fire drills that I'm telling you it's in front of you. Look around. The help is there. This is not applying to everybody, but to the people it does apply to, you know what I'm talking about. But even when you're asking for help, 2 minutes, bud. Even when you're asking for help, just remember that it's. I'm a huge believer that sometimes we get caught up in our thinking, and we start predicting the worst. We start predicting that people are going to poo poo on us. We're going to start predicting or believing that people are going to look down on us. And I've yet to see that. That was one of the reasons that stopped me from asking for help or even accepting the support. And quite honestly, if they're going to do that, are they really your people anyway? Do you really want to continue having them in your life? And that for me is like, maybe you need to start really looking at the people that you have in your life. I don't want anybody in my life who's only there with me when the getting is good. Can you stand the rain? I'm an old school song. I'm taking it back to the 80s. I'm an 80s baby, but it's like, sunny days, everybody loves them. But can you stand the rain? That is telling y'all something. You need to have people in your corner that you're there for them and they're there for you. And you feel comfortable asking them for some support, some perspective, because sometimes the help is, how would you handle this? Sometimes you're so close to it. Sometimes you get so wrapped up in it, you cannot see it any differently. That's when you lean on somebody. That's when you lean on your people. I'm telling you, it's worth it, because the things that I thought were just horrible, the things my clients have had to reach out for help and support in when they come work with me, it's like, oh, it's just this. And that's the biggest kick in the stomach. And let me tell you, when you have been built it up to be such a big thing, and it's gotten to be such a big, bold, bad thing, that you're like, oh my gosh. And then when you go to ask for some help or some support, some guidance, some perspective, some assistance, some sort of reasoning, some sort of accountability or whatever it could be, and they're like, oh, it's just this. That is one of the worst feelings, because that means that you waited for too damn long, and you're like, man, I could have got past this. Don't be stupid. Don't be dumb like me. In the presence of new data, statistics, facts, and figures, you make better decisions. Reach out to some people. Use common sense. but reach out for it. It's there. You just got to go out and capture it. All right, folks. Don't forget to sign up for newsletter, ownyourhappy.com. And it's happy with an I, /newsletter. We got some really cool things going out. And also, we're going to be shutting this down in terms of where I'm going to be hosting this after the new year. More details to come, but focus on the positive, focus on the happy. And honestly, just reach out for the people. Reach out to the people that matter. You have people who care about you. Let them care fully. Don't short circuit the system on help. It's great that you're helping people. It's great that you're kind to people, but make sure you let people help you. Poor givers tend to be some of the worst receivers. And I'm going to say that again before I close out. Givers, I'm going to say this Instagram, givers tend to be the worst receivers of help, but they always want to give. Do not short circuit the help circle. As we all are passing this bucket of love around, if you are not receiving, you are going to short circuit the system and then short someone feeling good like they're contributing. Don't do that. Ask for the help, get the support. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.